Not wrong. Yo, guys. It's Old Man G here, back again with another live show. Apologies for lack of shows. Obviously, for those who look at the community notes, you'll know why. But obviously, there has been some breaking news, I guess, which we're going to discuss today. And that is obviously Ben Jacobs' announcement that United have now improved the offer for Bryan Mbeumo and it to be over 60 million. So we're going to get into it. There is also some talk around Garnacho and Nkuku. And there is also some additional news regarding Mason Mount for Brits updated as well. But before we get into it, guys, remember, if you are new to the channel, to like, share, and subscribe to Red Devil Studio. Follow us on Twitter at Reunite X and smash the notification button. Now, I'll be honest, guys. I didn't really want to go, aside from being busy personal life, I didn't really want to go live a lot because I'll be honest, there really wasn't a lot of news that changed since we last went live. There really wasn't. I felt that there was going to be some news, but really and truly, nothing really materialized. And Mbeumo didn't really materialize yet. Gyökeres, although there might be a little bit of Gyökeres update as well, but again, nothing really. So to be honest, I just didn't feel the need to go to live every day to kind of give you an update when really there wasn't really that much in terms of updates. So, but here we go. We're here. We've got an update here. Now, big up Lucky Singh in the chat. I know you've mentioned some comments. I've just been trying to check the sources, so thank you so much, Lucky. Appreciate it. Temujin says United. I want Osimhen. Not going to happen, unfortunately, buddy. And Mbeumo looks close. M. Martinez, I'm not sure about that. Douglas Luiz, not sure about that. Vlahovic, probably not. Rails, Rooney, but yeah, most of those guys, probably not, unfortunately, buddy. Raul, congratulations. Thank you so much, buddy. Thanks so much. It's been a stressful last 2 weeks trying to get everything sorted together. So, man, I appreciate it, buddy. Good to just do something a little bit different, especially now that we've got some news. So, look, I see my beard, it's all misshaven. So, but yeah, no, appreciate it, buddy. Brentford time to sell, Tottenham, Eze Grealish. Well, I like that. Lucky, but let's see what happens. So I can't stay to deny. I just want to say, thanks, Solo man. Appreciate it, buddy. Make sure you hit the like, share, and subscribe button as well. Bottom right hand corner. We appreciate it. Road to 5K subscribers. Actually, yeah, road to 5K subscribers. So yeah, no, appreciate it. So, and then said bid has been rejected. Is that breaking? Is that breaking news? Has it been rejected? Let's have a look. You said bid has been rejected. Has it been? If it has, but I don't. I'll just have a look. Has it been anything? Yeah, I've not seen anything yet that suggests that it's been rejected yet. So. From what I can see. So anyway, it is what it is. Right. So let's get straight into the news anyway, guys. So as you can see, Manchester, according to Ben Jacobs, Manchester United have now improved the offer for Bryan Mbeumo to over 60 million. Again, called on this channel before. Talks have accelerated in the past few days and will continue this week. So obviously, if everyone recalls, the previous offer that United had submitted was approximately it was 50 million with £10 in add-ons. That was basically the original fee the United had offered. That had been rejected. Now they're saying the offer is over 60 million. And as I said before, that is either going to be something like, I would imagine, 55 million with 10 million add-ons. Or possibly 60 million with 5 million in add-ons. That's what I think is going to be going to happen. It appears that obviously with Brentford activating and Mbeumo's clause next 2 years, they want, I think, at least 70 million. So I wouldn't be surprised, if I'm honest, guys, if the bid was basically 60 million. With either 5 or 10 million pounds in terms of add-ons, maybe 5 million, 10 million pounds with a mixture of easy and difficult of objectives. That's probably what I think in terms of what the add-ons will accept. But the initial bid is probably going to be over 60 million, which makes sense given the fact that they did reject the initial 50 plus 10 million bid before. So let me know what you think about that, guys. In fact, let me just let's put a poll. Let's put a poll. What I'll say is Mbeumo worth 70 million? Because that's what we're looking at if we're really honest. So I'm going to put a poll in. Do you think he's worth 70 million? Yes. And then no. And let me know in the chat as well. And like I said, if you can like, share, and subscribe to the channel, I'd appreciate that as well. I'll just put that link in the description as well, and I'll pin that there for you guys for your information. So yeah, I mean, I think fundamentally my thoughts on this are that United really need to get their mojo going when it comes to signing transfers. I mean, Katie says he's not worth 70 million, but there is United tax. Well, yes, there is that. But I mean, it's not just United tax, it's also where United are. You know, Manchester United are finished 15th, and part because their attacking force was not good. Do I think Mbeumo was worth 70 million? No, but Mbeumo was the 4th highest top scorer in the league last season, just under Salah, Højlund, and Isak. And we're not getting any of those 3 players at all. We're not close to. So, you know, if you get the 4th, then to be honest, at the very least, I'm not saying United are going to finish 4th next season, but if you're telling me with Mbeumo, Cunha, and maybe a striker like Gyökeres or whoever it is that we get, we finish in the bottom, I just don't think that's the case. I don't think that's the case. Like, unlike a lot of United fans, I think a big reason why Manchester United did not finish in the position that they should have finished is simply because we just couldn't score goals. We couldn't score goals. So there is a United tax. Yeah, I don't disagree with that. There's a United tax. There's always a United tax. But, you know, I mean, what other options are there? And we can't do worse than 15th with the attack that we had. Let's be real. We were relying on Ahmad for goals last season. And Garnacho to a certain extent. And Garnacho obviously is going. So, you know, because Amram doesn't play with wingers. Sorry, 2 seconds, guys. Because Amram doesn't play with wingers, you are essentially relying on, you know, you're letting Rashford, Sancho, Anthony, and Garnacho all go because Amram doesn't play wingers. We're relying entirely on fullbacks. So basically, most of United's attacking threat is going. That's the case, you know. And then you're relying on wing backs to give the attack. And the reality is that we don't really have, you know, is Max Ferrari an attacking wing back? No. So really, the attacking wing backs are Ahmad, possibly Dalot, although he's still more defensively minded. Dorgu, obviously, better. And Leon, who's obviously coming in from Paraguay. That's it, really. Then your attack, is Højlund going to stay? Obviously, there were talks about him going on loan to Inter, but that's neither here nor there. Nothing's been materialized with that. You know, and you've got Xerxes, obviously, but doesn't really score a lot of goals, but good technical player. And then Bruno behind him, and that's it. That's all. That's all you have. That is all you have. So Manchester United really need to, I think anyway, really need to put their finger out and go for Mbeumo. Yes, he might not be worth. In fact, let's look at the poll here. I mean, most of you say no. Well, so far, 75% of you say he's not worth 70 mil. But then my question would be to the people that are watching: if Mbeumo is not worth 70 mil, despite the fact that he scored, he's the 4th highest score in the league last season, then how are you expecting Manchester United's goal tally next season to go up? That's what I'll say. How are you? The biggest issue of Manchester United last season was not being able to score enough goals. Big up Matty, see you in the chat as well. Big up, buddy. You know, Tottenham are bidding as in, are they? I'm not seeing that, like you're seeing. I like fundamentally, it's like the way I guess I kind of see it is that wait, there's an update. Well, Ben he's posted another. Jacobs has posted another update. Let's see what he said. I'll quickly go back. So Jacobs has posted another update about Mbeumo. So I'll quickly show that. Okay, he said Manchester United's plan is to try and get Bryan Mbeumo done before preseason begins on July the 7th. Okay, so there's a timeline, and Mbeumo remains firm in his preference to join Manchester. So that's actually an important update, actually. So it's clear. So Mbeumo, so I think the first thing from that's a good update. It's clear that so any of this Tottenham hijack, which I think we all kind of said was BS, but obviously was reported by everyone because that's just how it is. But any kind of Tottenham hijack nonsense thing wasn't going to be the case. It wasn't going to be the case. So as far as I'm concerned, Mbeumo wants Manchester United. Clearly wants to come to the club. That's what he wants. Cool. So there's no danger of any hijack, which means I guess Manchester United can take their time. However, it's clear that they want him for the preseason, and the preseason is July the 7th. So it's now June the 23rd. You know, 7 more days. So basically, we're talking 2 weeks. All right, 2 weeks before preseason starts. Preseason begins on July the 7th. I don't think people get this. So for everyone that's saying, you know, Amorim is going to get his players, not management, which I've said, you know, I'm not sure whether that's the best method or the best strategy to go about things. Personally, I just think it's a little bit, you know, tricky to do that. But if you're going to do that, he needs his players. And as it stands right now, all he's got is Cunha and Leon from obviously Paraguay, but I don't think that was his signing when in January. I mean, it might have been, I'm not sure, but I don't think it was. And that's it. That is it. And I'm sorry, but Cunha and Leon are not going to improve the squad to go from 15th place to 5th or 6th place. It's just not going to happen. So Mbeumo in Mbeumo's team, I think yes. I think you know you maybe you got a few more goals now that Cunha and Mbeumo are there, but you still need a striker. You still need a striker, and I think if United are taking this long on this deal, then you've got to say, you know, you got to say that it's unlikely. I mean, obviously, you know, the whole Gyökeres thing. There's talk about obviously his preferences for Arsenal. You know, are Manchester United going to go for any of the players? Osimhen, blah blah blah. I don't know. I'd like to think we'd go for Osimhen at some point, because the United attack situation is scary. It's scary. Apparently, Atletico Madrid have been knocked out of the Club World Cup. So there you go. Sorry. Atletico Madrid have been knocked out. These bums, Atletico Madrid are bums. I'll just put it that way. They've always been bums, always will be bums, and you know, it just is what it is. I'll just keep it that there. But that's an aside. Yeah, like I said, I just think that we need to do something, and we need to do something like quickly, because I am starting to get a little bit worried with 2 weeks to go. Yes, we've heard reports from what Oman said, but it's similar to what Greenwood said. Woodward said, we're not gonna, you know, the whole kind of, well, we're not going to be bullied, we're not going to make the right deal, we're not going to waste money. And I get that, you know, United shouldn't waste money, we shouldn't. However, there's no point in saying that if, much like how we overpaid for Anthony and so many other players, because we're not in a bargaining position. United's are crap. United's aren't doing anything, So if we do that, if we think that way, what's going to happen inevitably is that you're going to get to the end of the transfer window when you're like, oh, we're still stuck with Sancho, we're still stuck with Rashford, we haven't got, multiple other key signings, so we now have to overspend. That's basically been United's strategy. It's been negotiate, try and get a good price. Oh, we can't get a good price, so we'll pay, and we will overpay later. That has basically been Manchester United's strategy for the last 5 or 6 or so years. Whereas Liverpool and City, because they're doing well, obviously, and you don't have to sell the project, they can negotiate, and get all their signings and prep things done from January to thing. Liverpool and City, there is no way that United are catching up to Liverpool City next season. No way at all. Liverpool and City have pretty much done most of their business already. And United are stuck with a 15th place squad and have made one improvement which honestly, I don't even know where Cunha is going to play. He'll play behind a striker, and I suspect, will displace Garnacho maybe. I don't know. Okay, Brian says, are the reports of Casimiro's honestly true? I mean, I've looked at multiple journos. There is obviously always been Saudi interest. Yeah, I think there is Saudi interest, but yeah, I don't know. I don't know. It is what it is. I don't know. I just get the vibe that it's just going to be similar to how things always have been. I don't want it to. I really don't, but that's just the vibe that I get. I don't know what you guys think in the chat, but I mean, let's quickly update that poll. 20 votes, 50-50 now. Okay, so different. So 50-50. I will put up another poll, just to sort of talk about whether people actually think that United will get their key signings in, because increasingly with 2 weeks of preseason, I don't know. I just don't think so. Like, I hate to be negative, and I know people are going to be, why so negative? Why so negative? Well, I'm negative because fundamentally, if the basis behind backing this manager is he needs to have his players to play his style of football to be coached, I don't really get how you're going to fix that with one signing and the same players that got him 15th. Yes, of course, there might be some players there like Yoro and Ahmad, and maybe Collier, and so on, that might, and obviously Cunha, that might be able to adapt quickly and do what Aaron wants him to do, of course. But I don't know whether that's the case for all the teams. I don't know whether Maguire can do that, whether Bruno can do that, whether Gallo can do that, whether Højlund can do that. I don't know whether these guys can do that. I don't know. And it's gonna cause problems. Let's quickly see. Yeah. Lloyd Whitwell says improve of 80. I don't know why they put $81 million in it. It's 60. So I mean, although 60 million is essentially, I mean, 60 million pounds is essentially 70 million euros, isn't it? So I guess it is 70 million. So, and I'm sure it'll be seen as such. But yeah, I don't know. We'll see what happens. But yeah, for those obviously tuning in, United have submitted an offer from Mbeumo. Big up boy, man. Hello from Monta. Big up, buddy. Hope you're doing well, man. For those who are tuning in, obviously United are planning to try to get Mbeumo done. early before the preseason on July the 7th. So I guess we should be expecting, because I mean, July 7th is I mean, that's essentially next week, isn't it? 23rd, 21, 28, 20, 20, 29, 30. Yeah, it's effectively next week. Preseason is the end of the big end next week, next Sunday, effectively. So we should be expecting an Mbeumo announcement, I would imagine, a done deal, or here we go, either the end of this week or the beginning of next week. That's what we should expect. 20 plus people watching, guys, but come on, let's get those likes up, engage, get those likes up. Let's get those likes up. So 10, come on. Let's at least get to 20 likes on this video, guys. I'd really, really appreciate it. Please, 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 please. You know, like the vid, and subscribe obviously to the channel if you're new, bottom right hand corner. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. I just think that United need to get a move on. I'd hope. The other thing as well, I think that is also concerning me is, unlike last season where it felt like we were, and maybe towards the beginning of the preseason we might be able to trigger other things, but it just feels like so far it has been similar to Greenwood in that we're going for one play after another. Okay, Cunha, then Mbeumo, and then who's next? You know, and maybe that's because we're keeping our negotiations under the table, and that's fine. I don't have any problem with that. But you know, Gyökeres, for example, you know, or yes, there's been murmurings and stuff, but really and truly, it looks like it's been overblown by the Portuguese press, English press, because you know, there's not really been any real concrete talks. We've not submitted a bid. Maybe there's been some inquiries, but we've not really actually submitted a full-blown bid as of yet. Which I suspect will be due to the fact that we still have Garnacho, who also, you know, there's not been any real bid for him or Sancho, anyone. In fact, I'll get to some of that news later. Sancho has basically said, I'm not going anywhere until and I'm not going to take a pay cut. So you either pay for my fees or that's it. That's what it is. So we are in you know, we're in deep trouble. We're in deep trouble. We're in deep trouble. But I don't know. Like I said, let me know what people's thoughts are on this, and we'll take it from there. So, but who knows? Who knows? Who knows? Who knows? Right. Okay. Let's quickly pivot a little bit. We can come back to Mbeumo talk as well. I'll just go back to the poll. So let's see what. Oh, sorry. I need to look at the comments. Sorry, guys. Who are we going to get, bro? McCoy, I don't know at this point. I don't know. I'm increasingly thinking that Gyökeres is looking unlikely. Oshman isn't going to have his wages, so I generally don't know. And Etike, there's no way United spending 90 on another prospect. So I really, really don't know. If I were United, you know, we need to sell Garnacho as quick as possible, and then see if we can bite Sporting's hand and give them a solid bid of 70 million, and hope that Arsenal don't succeed in luring Gyökeres, because there's been obviously talks about Arsenal going in for Gyökeres instead of Sesko. For me, we need to sign up this deal. Hope that Arsenal don't secure it, and then just say Sporting, take the money, take 70 million, and be with it. That's what I would do, but I don't know if that's how feasible that is. I just don't. Temujin says, United. Oh yeah, the same. You're spamming the same thing, buddy. Owen Offset and Mbeumo is perfect United. And yes, it's worth the money. Let's hopefully get a top striker with that. If we're lucky, we take the trash out too, and I believe we start to climb. Yeah, no, I agree with that. I agree with that. And I think the poll, as I keep on going back to and from, I think that with more votes, more people. Because at the beginning, people were like, nah, he's not. But Now, about 52% of you say yes, and about 48% say no. So I think there's gradually a slow but surely, like, yeah, okay, maybe the dude is actually worth it. But like I said, it's simply because we're in a United are unfortunately in a position that we put ourselves. We've got no Champions League football. Okay. No Champions League football. 15th place. We're not really in a position to negotiate with anybody. That's just where we are. That was the consequence of losing the Europa League final. And if you told me, that you can get the 4th highest goal scorer in the Premier League last season for 70 mil, given that our options would obviously be much weaker, like say Mateta, for example. I'm not saying Mateta's a bad player, but it is weaker than Mbeumo, for example. That's where we are. United in a situation where we now have to shop potentially for middle to lower table clubs, just as individual strikers, to potentially move up the table next season, and hope that they click with with what's his name's Amram's style, because we can do all this and we can do it and we can push it and all the rest of it. But at the end of the day, if it doesn't click, we're in trouble. Ollie Watkins obviously was a shout. I don't know whether United would, but maybe. From the look of things, we're going to sign 3 to 4 players. So between after we sign a striker, which one do you think we should prioritize to keep up? Midfielder 100%. Midfielder 100%. I don't know when we're going to sign these players, but ideally it would have been best to sign them before the preseason. With typical Manchester United, because preseason starts in 2 weeks. So I don't see us signing another player before preseason, because it doesn't look like we're in negotiating talks with anybody. Mbeumo, yes, we've obviously got Cunha, but I don't see anyone else, unless in this week Garnacho or Rashford or Sancho sort of go like that. That's the only thing I can think of. If I had a choice, after we sign a striker, it's like, well, I don't know what striker we're going to sign yet. So my priorities would be, well, we need to sign a striker after Mbeumo, regardless, whoever that is, but that needs to be the priority. Everything else is secondary, really. So you got Cunha, you got Mbeumo. We need to sign a striker, no matter how much, because we say 3 to 4 players, but if ultimately signing a striker is going to cost us more than we can't spend, I'd rather do that. I don't want to make a mistake like we did last time, where we decided, we can't afford Højlund and Kane, and so let's just hope that Højlund gets good on a whim, and then spend 60 million on getting Mason Mount. Ten Hag's signings at that time made 0 sense. I was like, so you're spending 72 million. Think of this. You spent 60 million plus on Mount, who was going into last year's contract, who we didn't need, who's injury prone. And then you spend 75 million, I think, on getting Højlund. 130 million pounds, frankly, wasted. And we could have got Harry Kane for 100 million plus. So there you go. But yeah, striker and then midfielder. Goalkeeper would be after that. No, maybe not even goalkeeper. You could maybe a goalkeeper or potentially another right wing back, because in the wing back system, because we've got to think about the system that Amorim plays, because people talk about goalkeeper, but the reality is the goalkeeper is not really a key component into the system that Amorim is employing. It's wing backs. For me, it's the striker. It's the wing backs. It's the pivot in midfield, and it's the that's it. The striker, the wing backs, the pivot in midfield, and then you build from there. Wing backs, really, it's just Ahmad and Dalot. And you can make a case that we could get another, because I'm not so sure about Dalot, but maybe we'll use it in there. I don't know. I don't see Dalot as a wing back, really. Ahmad is fine. Dorgu, enough said, and we've got the Leon guy coming in. So really, it's a striker and then a midfielder. After Mbeumo, we're going to depend on sales. Oh, exactly. Yeah, exactly. That's what's going to happen. It's a sales thing. It's a sales thing. Mike says, wasted 40 million on our worst ever keep without a real keep, we will be nothing. Yeah, but without a real keep, we will nothing. Yeah, but the thing is that you say that, but if you look at the Premier League stats, in terms of the goals that we conceded over last season, we were probably what, 7th, 8th, I think, in the league for goals conceded. So we weren't that, I think something between 6th to 8th, I think, between goals conceded in the league last season, right? But when it comes to goals scored, we were in the bottom 4. We didn't outscore, we barely outscored the relegation teams. Okay. Now, so yes, do I think that? So with Spurs, for example, Spurs were the opposite. Spurs scored plenty of goals. But the reason why they're 17th, is that they conceded so many goals. So from Spurs' perspective, you could say, right, okay, Spurs need to sort out their defense. They need to sort out their goalkeeper. They had too many injuries. They need to work on their defense because the goal is scoring wasn't an issue. They were scoring plenty more. So get it. But with us, our defensive record, I'm not saying it was great, but it wasn't terrible in terms of the goals that we conceded. But our goal scoring was in the bottom 4. So when you look at that, it's clear to me that that area needs to be improved, because at the end of the day, last season, we still had Onana last season, who wasn't great. Sorry, the season before, and we still finished, what was it, 7th or 8th? And we won a trophy, the FA Cup. So Onana was bad, but we won a trophy and we'll finish 8th. We're 15th now. And yes, Onana's contributed to it, but not having a goal scorer for me is a big, big thing. So for me, even if I don't want to be in a situation this summer where Manchester United again sacrifice not getting a goal scorer and say, oh, well, we don't know what to do. We get a goalkeeper and it's fine. Okay, fine. You get Martinez for 40 million, which I think is a waste of money. But you get him, but we still can't score goals. And he'll concede goals because Martinez is a 30-plus-year-old keeper who also has mistakes in him. If you're going to get a world-class goalkeeper, really, you're going to have to spend money. Okay? I think United fans need to realize this. People want the standards of Oblak or of Alisson or of Courtois, whatever. That goalkeeper is going to cost you at least 70 million plus. Okay? So that's the challenge, unfortunately. That's the challenge. Big up, guys. Again, make sure you like, subscribe in your bottom corner. Let's get at least 20 likes on the video, guys. If you're not liked already, please do. We're going on strong to 4K, so 5K, so please get involved. So yeah, most people say that he's worth it. 70 minutes is worth it. That's what most people say. So I'll leave that poll there. So let us quickly move on to some other news, which Matt Law in the Telegraph, sort of semi. I put them in the realm of mid, not debunkable, but not compared to likes of Ben Jacobs, Fabrizio, etc. But Fabrizio, the reason why I'm covering this is Fabrizio did mention this in his video. So, but just for those who obviously were listening, Garnacho and Nkuku swap deal. I think there was murmurings about this in the December time, about whether or not. Sorry, 1 second. Sorry, 1 second, everyone. So about that, guys. Yeah. So basically, listen. This obviously has been talked about for a while with Garnacho and Nkuku. Obviously, both clubs wanting to kind of offload these players. And Nkuku, I don't know. I mean, he's just completely fallen off. They were talking about players that were ruined by clubs, and people often talk about United. Chelsea have ruined a lot. And Nkuku looked good, and now he looks like he can't start ahead of Jackson. It's crazy. So he's surplus requirements. Garnacho is, and of course, I think Chelsea Garnacho would be it's a player they want. But the reality is, although Matt Law, the Telegraph, who is saying you might Chelsea United weigh up deals with Nkuku and Garnacho moving in opposite directions, Chelsea also still talks over Gittins at Borussia meeting during the World Cup. Fabrizio has basically said there hasn't been, yes, there are suggestions, but there's not been any real direct concrete talks between these guys. That's just not the case right now. So I think we can put that to bed. But I don't know. I mean, there's been talk about the Garnacho post. I don't really know why people are going on Garnacho. Like, I think people, it's weird. I don't know. Do fans generally believe that players support the clubs that they play for? It doesn't make sense. Yeah, you play for the fans, but like, if a player wears a Real Madrid or Barca top or something, maybe even a Liverpool top or something, and like, how dare they? It's like it's off season, they're playing with their mates and their friends. The United loyalty, I just don't get it. Like, I just don't get it. I'm more concerned about how they perform on the field. I think Ahmad was. I saw a video of Ahmad wearing a Brighton top. Like it doesn't really matter, to be honest, So, but apparently it's a big deal for people. So I don't know what you can do about that, but it is what it is. So, but I don't know where he's going. Diving ducks, Crochets. I really think a player type like Gonzalo Ramos on PSG would be good. I mean, yeah. I hear you. I hear you, Diving Ducks. I hear you. But how much would PSG sell him for? That's the question. A lot of these questions are these players would be good, but are they going to be affordable for a United team that is struggling to seemingly offload players? We're again hamstrung by the predicament that Sancho, Rashford, and mostly Sancho and Rashford are on high wages. We can't offload them. Garnacho has made it clear that he wants to stay in the Premier League as well. But I suspect United do not want to sell to a rival. Villa, I mean, I don't know. You can make a case that Villa is now a rival. You could make a case. Villa is a rival now because they're in the I can't remember what positions they are, but they're in the Europa League. Yeah, they're in the Europa League position. So there you go. Big up Smassy. Hope you're doing well, Smassy. Smassy, as you can see, is a member. If you want to support the channel, consider becoming a member to Red Studio. We've got some new emojis. I've made some adjustments to the membership sorts of things. So if you want to become a member and support the channel, please do. The things are in the description. So, but yeah, consider supporting RDS, man. I hope you're doing well, Samasi. Red Devil United. So big up Rich. Hope you're doing well, guys. Make sure you go and support Rich and support his channel. Doing really, really well. And make sure you get him. I think he's on the road to 7K now. I think 7K. So big him up and go over and support Rich. He's a good mate of mine. Support him. Samasi says, "What's up, RDS? I mean, I posted a tweet on that these guys are bums. So they are. Well, okay, no, yeah, Atleti are bums. They're bums, and Diego Simeone is frankly a fraud. He gets a lot of hype. I guess it's because he's won the league with Atletico twice. I think. They're loyal. They want to stay with him. So fair enough. But I don't anticipate Atleti doing anything really significant in Europe or globally in the near future. I just don't. Fabrizio has also posted an update on Mbeumo. We'll come to that. Just share what he says. Maybe he's a bit late to the party. I don't know if he's really added anything, but let's have a look and see. Let's have a look and see what Fabrizio has said about Mbeumo. Let's go back. Fabrizio, what have you said? Okay, Fabrizio. Manchester United have submitted new proposal for Bryan Mbeumo Brain's priority target. The proposal was sent over the weekend. It's sent over the weekend, okay? And it's next of 60 million. Discussion with Brentford and Mbeumo keep. Yeah, okay. So it's what we basically know. He's just confirming it with people. I don't think he's put anything else out. But yeah. So yeah, what we basically already know already. Shout out to Fabrizio. But yeah, that's what we know. Let's have a quick look in the thing. Diving Look, it says, I could see Rashford going to PSG in a swap. Yeah. Wait, no. Well, no, not anymore. Not anymore. Maybe back at, so I say it, yeah. Back in the day, yes, not now. Back in the day, yes, not now. Not now. Not now. Not with where PSG are with the talent that they have. I can't see that now. Last summer, yes, and I think if Rashford pushed the move, I think if you are Rashford, you should have pushed the move, and you should have cut your wages. The biggest offset with Rashford was his wages. Simple as that. Cut your wages, go. And that didn't happen, unfortunately. And this is where we are with Marcus Rashford, unfortunately. So that's it. Like you're seeing, kind of where I'm going pushing. I don't think it's happening. Sorry, McCoy again. Bryan, Garnacho wearing a rival shirt while his contract to Man isn't good for me. He won't reach the heights to think so. Atu is important. Yeah, it is. But I mean, is Villa a rival? I would have said Villa is a rival. I mean, that's kind of how low United have sunk, that we're considering that Aston Villa is a rival. Aston Villa is a rival to Manchester United? How? How? It's weird. How are Villa a rival? It's insane that we're even saying that. But at the end of the day, he's gone. Anyway, I think he knows. Fabrizio said, obviously, that the ratio is imperable, and it's over. Obviously, Aaron wants him gone. But it's all well and good saying it's over, it's gone, etc. It's another thing to actually have a bid and someone to, and this is the point. Oh, he's gone. Oh, there's fluctuations. Cool, but where's the offer? Where's the offer? Where's the offer? Where's the offer for him? If there isn't, the problem, one of the things I would say to United fans, we need to be careful, is that if you post on social media and you post and you say this player's trouble, this player's this player's that, they're bad, blah, 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 they're not good. Why would you expect other clubs and managers to pay top dollar? Like, the reason why clubs play top dollar for Liverpool and City fans, not only just because obviously of the procedure they have, but it's also because they're not on, their fans aren't on social media just slandering them and creating negative press, which is obviously read by clubs, owners, etc. So an owner reading this stuff about Garnacho is going to go, well, he's a risk. Yes, he's a young player, he's a risk. So what we'll do is, because United fans are desperate to get rid of him, we'll just offer United 20 mil. And whatever you say about Garnacho, for a 20-year-old player who's played in the Premier League at the highest level, scored numerous goals, who's got 2 trophies, and has got bags of potential, 20 million for a young player is nothing. It's a steal. We should be getting more. 60 million is reasonable. So I think we need to be careful, is what I would say. So we want players sold, but we're gonna, if you create a negative media around them, I think it affects their sell value. Do at least Man United trying to get players, Bayern doing nothing. Bayern are fine though. As we're seeing in the Club Winners, was it Club Winners Cup? Not Club Winners Cup. I don't know, the cup, the trophy pier that's going on. Bayern will be fine. Garnacho is ego that doesn't match his talent. I mean, there is that, but he's a 20-year-old, and that's what happens. He's that's unfortunately what happens. You get a bit of hype, and then it's like, wow, okay, boom, I'm the best player, you know. But that's something that ownership management we've got to sort out. It's as simple as that. Still about 56-44% about with Mbeumo was 70 million. So there you go. Currently, yeah, that's the reality. Yeah, that's it's bad. We're bad when doing business. Quenchers barely play for Liverpool. Look, but this is what I'm saying. But this is what I'm saying is that this is what I'm saying though is that we are bad at business, you know. So, but we need to at least you know, not destroy our players in the media, on social media, online discussions, etc. Because, like I said, the pattern I've noticed is that we as United fans are, we're desperate for this deadwood to be shifted, and then we end up losing money or not getting the value that we should. Whereas players like Kwanzaa, for example, because Liverpool fans haven't said anything. And so all the clubs have is, okay, it's a Liverpool player, he's got Premier experience, boom. With United, it's like, okay, yeah, they're a United player, but they've got this problem wrong with them, this problem wrong with them, this problem wrong with them. So we'll take a risk and we'll lowball nothing, you know? Roget says, keep Garnacho, big up. Kidding about it. So kidding about keeping Garnacho. Well, I don't know. We'll see. Steve Rebello says, love the show. So big up. I'm always want to greet new subscribers to the channel. I appreciate it. Like I said, where I really go live and stream when new information comes out. So I've not really done a lot this last week because, quite frankly, there wasn't really a lot of news to go on. And today, suddenly, we've got some news from Fabrizio, from Ben Jacobs, and a few others to discuss, and that's why we're live. But I'm certainly not a United channel where during the off season I'm going to go live every single day. Basically, it's because I don't have the time for one thing, but also I just feel that it's better use of my time if we discuss when Manchester United are clearly making progress. And I do think that this week, given how close we are to Mbeumo, that I think that we are going to be coming back to this, you know. So let's see what happens. We're on 4,440 subscribers. Let's make it 4,450 subscribers by the end of the show. 5 more subs. Please, guys. Like, share, and subscribe to Red Devil Studio, bottom right-hand corner. It doesn't cost you anything. I want let's at least get to, I think, let's see, how many likes do we have? Guys? How many likes do we have? 90, come on. 20 people watching. Let's get a 20 likes, guys. It doesn't cost you anything. 20 likes would be appreciated. And there we go. Yeah, 120 likes. There you go. See, now let's get a 30 likes, guys. 30 likes, guys. Let's just have a look. And obviously, big up people watching on Twitch as well. I am on Twitch as well, so shout out to that as well. Please do. Rajat says, don't think Yamal will be so elite. He got ego. I mean, the thing is, you need to understand, the thing is that like these players are young. You know, I try and give empathy to these, you know, most 16, 17 don't really know what they're doing a lot of the time. You know, it's ego. It's just, yeah, of course they've got ego because they've been hyped up by fans, by their agents, by everybody, you know. But I'm a longevity merchant, and so I never get bought in to players that just have 1, maybe 2 really good seasons, because for me, football is about how you could be consistent. That's why Ronaldo and Messi, for me, will always be the GOATs, because of their longevity, of how they're able to perform the highest level for so long, you know. We'll see what happens. I like Garnacho, you had good times, but, well, you know, I think Garnacho is worth 60 million. But let's see what happens. I just don't know. We need to at least stop bringing the guy down so that his value doesn't go down as well. Lloyd Whitwell writing about Mbeumo, Nacho needed. Is this Nacho from Madrid? Needed 50, 60 million. I don't know who's going to pay that. Nacho is Nacho close to 30 now? Reject. Yeah. What was as Laurie Whitwell? Let me see if what Laurie Whitwell. I mean, Laurie Whitwell is, you know, it is what it is. It's the same after Jacobs. Yeah, United's improved bid for Brentford, for Bryan Mbeumo more than 6 million in total. Talks have been ongoing. Once you hope for resolution in near future. Pre-season starts on July the 7th. It's the gist of it. He's also mentioned something about like what's he mentioned about Johnny Evans staying at Manchester United after Greenlaw. So he's on our coaching staff apparently. Look after youth loans, helping place players at clubs, offering them support. Well, I hope. As much as I think about Evans, I really hope that that he's good at this role, because if there's something that this club needs, it's someone who's looking after it. I'm actually amazed that most of our young players don't actually go on loan properly. Garnacho, for me, Ahmad benefits a lot from his loans at Sunderland and Rangers, especially in the Championship. Why is it that we have you're not going to having Collier, Mainu, all these different players? I think Mainu's good enough for to start anyway, but still, these young players, get them on loan, get them out, get them on loan, and get them and get them game time. And offering them support for the process. To me, let that be the case. Let that be the case. We've got too many we've got quality young players, but too many of them are just sitting on the bench, just hoping for something to happen. And looking at Amram doesn't look like a guy who's going to give youth and same a chance. I think next season is going to be the first season where we're not going to have an academy graduate in the starting lineup. I think we've had one in the starting lineup at Old Trafford for as long as I can remember. This might not be the case next season. I'm just seeing there's nothing about. There's anything about Sancho? I'm seeing Sancho being on trending, but I don't see anything I don't see anything really about Sancho, so it's a bit strange. So let's have a look. I'll go back to quickly switch back to the Garnacho and Nkuku swap talk we were talking about there. But yeah, I as a general, actually, would I take? In fact, let's stop the poll. Let's stop the poll. Send votes 58. So most people think he's worth it, but marginally. So what I will say, let's start another poll. Let's say, would you take Nkuku at United? I'm not going to say would you swap Nkuku with Garnacho, because I'm sure a lot of people say yes because of Garnacho's attitude. I want people to specifically address, whether you think that Nkuku is good enough for United, whether you think he would work at Manchester United in Amram's system. That's what makes the most sense to me. Yeah, Johnny Evans getting promoted to being coach. Why isn't he? Coach, why isn't he retiring? Because like a lot of footballers, they find it difficult to leave football. Their whole life has been football for the last 2 decades, and then to just say I can't play anymore, so some players, they don't want to play in the lower leagues and get injured, so they take up coaching roles to keep them in the game. It's difficult, I think, to really truly leave something that you've dedicated a lot of your life to, and I understand that. Okay, yeah, Ben Jacobs to Brazil. We'll see what happens. Getting Stiller, Stotch, or Ederson off from Atlanta. I mean, those are good shouts, but again, I don't know how much they're going to cost. That's the key. I genuinely don't know how much those guys are going to cost. But we'll see what happens. Tired. Yeah. Let's see, just quickly in the polls, a few votes. Yeah. Would you take Nkuku? No. There's a lot of no's. There's a lot of no's. There's a lot of no's here. Can Brentford reject our second bid? I hope not. I hope not. I mean, they wanted 60 million up front. I see that's what we're giving them, plus some add-ons. So I'm hoping, and Bremer wants it. So I'm hoping that he won't reject it. I generally am hoping that he won't reject us, but you know, you don't know. You don't know at this point. You don't know. I don't know, is what I would say. I really don't know. Hopefully he doesn't though. Freddie must be watching. Come on, let's get to 30 likes, guys. 30 likes. Come on. If you want to subscribe to the channel as well. Bottom right corner, I appreciate it. Let's see actually. No, that's not a goal. But yeah. Brentford could reject second offer. Would they reject it? I don't know. I do think that Mbeumo probably has to push a little bit, a bit more than he really is. But I would be surprised if Brentford reject it. Hope that Brentford going to reject it. Thinks yeah. I think if you're now pushing it to be above 60 million pounds, it's getting a bit too much now. I think. It's getting you know, it's getting a bit too much. I think, you know, so it's getting a bit too much if that's the case. But you know, we'll obviously see what happens. Right. I'm just gonna check to see if there is any additional news that I can see. The main things I want to talk about were basically Mbeumo. When Mbeumo, obviously the deal that we're going for him, and also obviously the Garnacho and Nkuku potential swap, but not really swap if we're perfectly honest. Oh, Tottenham will sign someone from the J League, so shout out to them. But yeah, I'm not seeing much in the way of additional news. Let's just. Oh yes, there was something. Yes. Actually, I've just remembered. I've remembered now. There was something that came across. I don't think there's really anything on Gyökeres right now, but there was some romantic news, and that is regarding Mason Mount apparently. So let me just quickly bring this up because there's been some news about Mason Mount, which I didn't really think was going to be a thing, but it's apparently a thing. Sorry, 2 seconds. So yeah, Mason Mount, apparently Mason Mount not planning to see Manchester United despite reports in recent hours. I don't know what those reports were. He's focusing on staying fit, do preseason work at his best, and stay to work full season with Ruben Amorim. Listen, for me, Mason Mount is going into his third season, and his third full season. And for me, this is it, effectively, because his first season, we bought him with Ten Hag. He was injured for most of it. Ten Hag, for whatever reason, thought that we should spend 60 plus million on a guy who was injury prone and had 1 year left in his contract. I would have just signed him for free if we're going to get him. And decides to give him the number 7. He somehow seems to have this thing with managers. Every manager seems to say, Tuchel says it, Everyone seems to say it. I don't know what it is. Oh, Mount, he's so awesome. He's a dedicated player. He's this, he's that, he's hardworking, he's this, and maybe he is in training, but outside of training, I don't really know where the hype is. You know, he did well in the second leg against Bilbao, cool, but in the final against Spurs, he was nowhere to be seen, and that's been him. I don't really think he was that great when he came back. So for me, this is Mason Mount's last dance. He's got to do well this season. Otherwise, you sell him or you don't renew his contract. United need to start being ruthless now. These players we buy who are injury prone, who don't do anything, you say, right, okay, fine, we're not offering you a new contract. Okay? You sell them to try and keep the value. If not, and they're not looking like they're shifting, you don't give them a new contract. Simple as that. Simple as that. No to Garnacho swap deal. Don't rate that X guy off. Able Leipzig, no. Leipzig. Get Richard Rios of Brazilian team promised them, please. Well, I mean, if you're Manchester United, if you were sensible, which United are not, you would have sent scouts to the Club World Cup and had a sniff and had a look. You'd have sent Aaron, you'd have thought, maybe there might be some people here who might be able to kind of help Manchester United out. Maybe. That's what you do. But knowing Manchester United, especially if reports are true that they're, I don't know, sacking their scouting network or something, they're just doing some stupid stuff like that. Like, I don't know. I really don't know. I really don't know for Manchester United. Let's see what the poll is. We're only 3 subs away. 2 subs now to 450, guys. If you're listening, guys, like, share and subscribe to Red Devil Studio, bottom right hand corner. We're only 2 subs away from 4,450 subscribers. And the aim, I want a big game. Let's at least get to 5K by the start of the new season. That would be good. 5K subscribers by the start of the new season would be really, really good. Really, really appreciate it. That would be really, really good, guys. Let's see. Let's see what happens. Simple channel, fan channel. That is all we answered are. Yeah, if you want to get involved, I'm on Twitter at RedDelStudio Send me a DM, collab, and we can get started. But yeah, just back to Mason Mount again. Guys, I just think that it's just I just think that we need to step up. We need to step up. We need to stop this this hype for players. We need to. I mean, look at this. Nottingham Forest and Juventus are in talks of both Samuel Manguela and Timothy Ware. You know, Forest now going and getting things. You know, what is going on? And you know, what are United doing? You know, as someone saying on Twitter, like it looks like it's going to be World War III before United get this Mbeumo signing over the line. It's going to be World War III before this is going. It's crazy. It's just, yeah. Just going back to the Mbeumo stuff from what I can see. In fact, I'll just share this link because I think this is a good image for those people who are curious about Nkuku. I think I'll go back to the poll in a second, but I'm going to share this post by United's people. And hopefully everyone can see that. This is his injury record. Okay. From 2020 to 2023. This is injury record. Torn lateral knee ligaments, missed 84 days. Games missed. This was in the games missed 12 games for France, which is a national team, and then I think RB. Fitness for 11 days because he wasn't fit somehow. Torn muscle fiber in 2023. This is still in 2023 season, by the way. 40 days. RB Leipzig and France missed 8 games. Okay? So in the 2022-2023 season, he missed a grand total of, well, half the year. 84 plus 40 is 124. Plus 10 is 120. He only 365 in the 18. He almost missed half of the year. That's 2023. 23-24. So the season before last. 110 days. Knee injury. 20 games, including for Chelsea. Fitness, 44. So 150 days. Hip injury, another 24 days. So that's 76 days. Missed 20 games, 9, and then 5. 105. Again, that's more than half the year. So in the last 2 seasons before the prior one, it was half the year. Even further. 68 hamstring injury, 68 days. So almost 14 games. So you count that 110, 44, 24, 68. It's almost 200 days. That's most of the year, guys. And then 24-25, I think that it looks like he just have not 27 days, a sort of month and 6 days, although maybe it's not updated. I'm sorry, but we need to learn from Mason Mount and not go to an injury-prone player like Nkuku. I'm looking at the polls, and let me just have a look, see what you guys say. 81% of you say no, and 20% of you say yes. And I'm assuming the 20% are Chelsea fans, quite frankly, because I just don't see. I don't want Manchester United to be getting into an injury debate with certain players again. We've done that too many times. You know, it's just it's annoying. It's frustrating. We overpay for players. Let's not do that. But yeah, back to Mason Mount. For his sake, he's got to stay fit and he's got to come good. I don't really see where, in the grand scheme of things, he fits into Alice Amram's system, because if you get Kounye and Mbeumo and a striker, you've got to play Kounye and Mbeumo. These aren't going to be bench players. You've got to play them. Sorry. You got to play them. So where are they going to play? Where are Kounye and Mbeumo going to play? Are they going to play? Kounye and Mbeumo, I assume, will play below behind the number 9, because Mbeumo and Kounye are not really strikers. They're forward playing players, but not strikers. And Amram doesn't play wingers. And Mbeumo and Kounye are not wing backs. So for me, position wise, they've got to play. I guess maybe Mbeumo could be a right wing or left winger and pull back, but I don't really see how that works. I think in his system, it's got to be behind the strikers. And so if that's the case, where does Mason Mount fit here? Bruno, okay. Bruno can play deep. I don't like when Bruno plays deep, quite frankly, but okay, I guess you can do it. But Mason Mount, that's not him. So if you're Mount, you're probably playing backup to Kounye and Mbeumo, or Bruno if he's going to be in that position. So for me, especially if you have to get a striker. So for me, this is going to be a big season for Mount. Like he needs to really, really step up his game. Otherwise, he's just going to be out of the team. He's going to be out of the team. He's not going to play, and it's not going to be good, because obviously, and this would be the hope that I think for a lot of Manchester United players, is that the World Cup is coming. The World Cup is next year. If Mason Mount wants to get to the World Cup, he's got to stay fit and he's got to play good. Because that Manchester United squad, and this is, and I say this, I'd say this to Rashford, Sancho, and Garnacho as well. We can have all the arrogance and stuff as well, and maybe they'll say, okay, they're still young. Although Rashford and Sancho, by the time when the World Cup comes, it'll be tricky. Garnacho, fine. Sancho, okay, maybe he's got 2 more, but these things don't come around that often. The World Cup is big. A lot of players, they like their local domestic tournaments, but the World Cup is what people want to play at the World Cup. It's a big international tournament, and doesn't come around a lot. So the reality is that for likes of Rashford, for most of the English players, Rashford, Sancho, Mason Mount, Maguire, etc., you can't afford as players to go into a season, especially with Tuchel, who obviously likes Chelsea players. You can't afford to go into a season where you are subpar and crap. You just can't. You're going to have to perform better if you're going to stand out. Garnacho, I'd say the same. I think Argentina have a good depth in squad. And at the end of the day, like, if he's crap and he's not playing, why would he be picked? This is a message to all Manchester United players. Like, it's just not going to happen. It's not going to happen. We're 1 sub away from 4,450 guys. So please hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, and get us. Let's get there live to 4,450 guys. I really appreciate it. Hit that subscribe button if you're new. Share something new. Follow us on Twitter as well, Red Devil Studio X, guys. If you want my reactions to the latest content. Now, I'm going to be a round up, obviously, to summarize for people, obviously, who are coming in. Mbeumo, new bid, above 60 million. Hopefully, people, obviously, the Brentford will accept it. That's been the breaking news with Mbeumo, with a new bid from Manchester United going to Brentford. We are waiting to see the reaction for that. Nkuku and Garnacho swap. There's been murmurings about that. However, according to Fabrizio Romano, United and Chelsea are not in direct talks about getting a deal moving forward. And lastly, Mason Mount. Mason Mount, were murmurings about him leaving, but he's not. He's staying with the club and he's trying to get himself fit to start for pre-season. So that is basically the gist of where we are. And before we round up, I'm going to just have a quick browse to see if there's any other news. So we'll check Fabrizio. Obviously, he's echoed the Mbeumo stuff. Who else? Let's have a look. Mbeumo. Let's have a look. Any Manchester United talk? But I don't know. Obviously, Johnny Evans staying at Manchester United, but he's going to be staying in a more supporting role, looking after the youth, which I think is a good idea. Because quite frankly, if we have a centre-back crisis, at least you can go back and get Johnny Evans again. Thoughts on Garnacho? I don't care. I'll be honest, Meg, I don't care. People are over talking about it. I really don't care. Like as I've said earlier, I think, and I try not to do this, is that when the fans slate players and talk about bad attitudes and stuff like that, whilst at the same time wanting them gone, all it does is mean the amount of money that United get for said players gets less. Liverpool, City, and other teams can sell their players for high premiums because they keep those players out of the press. So they only rely on Liverpool's prestige and experience. So they can sell Quansah for 30, 40 million. You know, Garnacho is worth more than Quansah, but because the image of Garnacho is now going to be that he has a bad attitude and that he's stubborn and all the rest of it, because that's what's being generated by the press and United fans who and press who also watch and read what we do. Why would those the owner, why would the manager, why would they go and give the player spend 60 million on Garnacho? They're not going to do that. That's the problem here. That's the problem. Right. Yes, we've reached 4,450 subscribers live. Thank you guys. Really, really appreciate it. And yeah, that's it as far as something goes. Remember, guys, if you are new to the channel, remember to like, share, and subscribe. We will obviously go live again if there's any breaking news regarding the progress. I think we are going to be following us. I would expect a here we go from Mbeumo. If this deal is agreed with Brentford, we'd expect something close to here we go this week. Maybe it is next, because as I said, United want Mbeumo before the preseason. So let's see what happens. But yeah, let's see what happens. Let's hope for the best, but also prepare for the worst. Let's hope for the best, but let's also prepare for the worst as well. But we need Mbeumo and we need these signings before preseason. It's important. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe. Follow us on Twitter, X. We're also on Instagram, TikTok as well. Have a nice day, guys, and cheers. Peace.